Hearing will come to order. Today, we will review the fiscal year 2019 budget request for the Department of Interior. I'd like to welcome back to the committee our witnesses this morning, Secretary Zinke, accompanied by Deputy Assistant Secretary for Budget, Finance, Performance, and Acquisition, Olivia Ferreter, and the Director of the Office of Budget, Denise Flanagan. So welcome to you all. And Mr. Secretary, welcome back to the committee. The Energy and Natural Resources Committee held its budget hearing back in March, and I appreciate the opportunity to further discuss the details of your budget with you today. Over the past year, we've been able to work very closely on a host of issues that are crucial to Alaska, and I thank you for your commitment and your attention to these very important matters and all that you've done to promote the responsible development of our state's abundant natural resources. Just as a reminder to colleagues, we're going to adhere to the early bird rule this morning. I'll call on members in the order they arrive, going back and forth. We'll do 6-minute rounds of questions. It's my hope that we'll be able to do a couple rounds in an effort to give everyone an opportunity to address the issues that they wish to raise. The FY2019 budget request for the Department of Interior is $10.5 billion for programs within the jurisdiction of the Interior Subcommittee. This is roughly $2.5 billion below the enacted level, a reduction of 19%. As with every president's budget request, there are portions of the budget that I support and others that I will note my concerns. I do appreciate the budget's emphasis on greater energy security and increasing responsible development of our natural resources. An important effort is the department's work on a new 5-year plan for offshore leasing. I am pleased that the draft proposed plan includes the Arctic OCS, which holds enormous potential in both the Beaufort and the Chukchi Seas. I know members from other states have differing views on including some new areas in the plan, and that stakeholders and the public have offered extensive comments. I support a plan that balances greater access while maintaining protections in areas where development may not be appropriate at this time. And I, along with the rest of the Alaska delegation, have made clear where those protections offshore Alaska should continue. I'm also pleased with the budget's emphasis on our nation's mineral security. This is an issue that I've been working on for many years, and I appreciate both you and President Trump recognizing the importance of reducing our nation's dependence on foreign sources for critical minerals that are essential to our economic security. There are some reductions in the budget that I cannot support. One example is with the state of Alaska and our Alaska natives who are still waiting for the department to convey title to millions of acres of their lands more than 50 years since statehood. So it's hard for me to accept a 38% reduction to the department's program that issues conveyances to those who have already waited far too long to receive title to their lands. Alaska also has 1/2 of all federally recognized tribes. The Bureau of Indian Affairs provides essential programs for Alaska natives and American Indians that are fundamental to the federal government's legal obligations to our First Peoples. And I'm concerned by many of the proposed reductions to the BIA. Some of the programs that I will note with concern are the proposed elimination of the Tribal Courts program and the Small and Needy Tribes program. These provide critical resources to some of the poorest and most remote villages in Alaska. We had an opportunity yesterday in Indian Affairs to have the President's nominee for Assistant Secretary to the BIA, Tara Sweeney, come before us, and it was made very clear by members, both Senator Tester, Senator Udall here, that we have high expectations for the Assistant Secretary, and it is a difficult job, but her department needs to be resourced appropriately. Mr. Secretary, in your testimony, you highlight the importance of addressing the deferred maintenance problem across the department. The budget request proposes to establish a new public lands infrastructure fund to address the multi-billion-dollar maintenance backlog at our nation's parks, refuges, and the Bureau of Indian Education schools. Similar proposals have been introduced by members of the Senate, including Senator Alexander. I look forward to working with you and my colleagues on this issue in both my role as chairman of this subcommittee and as chair of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. We have made significant investments in deferred maintenance across the department with the 2018 Omnibus Appropriations Bill. The National Park Service construction account received a $150 million increase. This is the largest annual percentage increase ever for this appropriation, and funds were provided to other land management agencies as well. The BIA was provided an additional $162 million, including $105 million for education construction, $24 million to restart the facilities replacement and construction program to improve public safety in the Indian country, and $31 million to replace badly outdated dams and irrigation systems. I know that the omnibus was passed just over a month ago, and the department is still working on the spending plans for the individual bureaus to submit to the committee, but we do hope to get those details soon. We recognize that the fiscal year is passing quickly, and it's important to get those resources out on the ground. With a budget agreement in place from the outset of the appropriations process, I am optimistic that we can move bills quickly and in regular order, and I thank the chairman of the full Appropriations Committee and his ranking member, Mr. Leahy, for their commitment to moving these appropriations bills forward and doing so quickly and in an orderly manner. So know that my commitment, and I know my ranking member here, we've pledged to work aggressively with you to do just exactly that. We can't expect the Department of Interior or any of the other agencies funded by this bill to function efficiently when we don't pass final appropriations bills until roughly half the fiscal year has passed. And I think we saw that play out in 2017, 2018, and we need to do a better job. So I look forward to working with my colleagues to address their priorities for this year's Interior bill. And Mr. Secretary, know that I look forward to working with you and your staff to identify the highest priorities so that we can ensure that you have the resources that you need to fulfill your goals for the department. So again, I thank you for being here.